it's too muddy over there. You know, but it took me to become a grown man and look for things for myself to realize how great Illinois was, because they had money for education. They had nightclubs that were open all night. But this is where the tale of two cities comes in. And that Hamiet Bluiett from the east side, James Jabbo, who came to St. Louis when he was 17 years old and started playing music, and how they began to meet up, and the crisscrossing across that river. It's really a tale of two cities, because the musicians, especially the Missouri side, which I knew more of them, could work jobs on the Missouri side, and the police started coming around 12 o'clock and kicking everybody out, because the doors had to be shut, nobody in the clubs at 1 o'clock. And you had time to get over and start playing all night in East St. Louis. Now, I was not one of the ones that did that, but it was an extremely important part to have the work. Illinois is an industrial place. Missouri is sort of a backwater compared to Illinois. Illinois is all about business and commerce. You know, railroad tracks run all the way through, you know, up and down, you know, down to that crazy place, Cairo, Illinois, down into where Arkansas, Tennessee, Illinois and all them meet down there. It was a famous place during the Civil Rights Movement. But, you know, Bluiett and Jabbo came together, and, you know, Bluiett just was an inspiration to everybody. He got Jabbo started playing baritone. He helped us both with our careers, both especially Jabbo in St. Louis, and both of us here in New York City. So it is a tale of two cities. I mean, we don't have time to tell the whole history, but you have to understand it just could not have been a livelihood for musicians at a time when music was sort of still a livelihood in more parts of the country than it is now. There couldn't have been that kind of livelihood for as many people if it hadn't been for the East St. Louis scene. So it was flowing back and forth. So we knew, the band leader one of the jobs that Bluiett gave to Jabbo was George Hudson Orchestra. Was a George Hudson Orchestra, and George Hudson lived on the St. Louis side, but his job that he retired from was in East St. Louis, and he was Bluiett's high school band director, I think in Lincoln High, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in East St. Louis, Missouri. So people were working on both sides of the river in terms of education, or playing their music on one side, teaching on the other, you know, putting a living together. So it actually is really a tale of two cities, the St. Louis experience. And a lot of the things that Jabbo plays now today is rooted, as he tells you in his lectures, that's not a bad word, come on. About the music, and a lot of it does go all the way back. And before that, back to Chattanooga, Tennessee, where he was raised. Thank you very much, Bill.
Mr. J.B. Parran. The boss man, Mr. James Jabbo Ware.
Well, I'm going to tell y'all a story. We've been knowing each other a long time.
Yeah.
I guess back around 1960, somewhere in there, you just got out of the Navy. And I was playing with this band, and we used to rehearse on a Wednesday or Tuesday or something like that. And I didn't see him come in. All I heard was this sound. And I'm gonna tell you the tune we was playing. Nice arrangement too, with Whispering Grass. And Bluiett jumped up and took a solo. And everybody in the band went, what the hell was that? Because he just filled up the whole room. And I'm sitting over there on my little alto, and I'm looking at him. And I had just bought a baritone. Called myself gonna play all the saxophones. So we met, we started talking. He come to my house and showed me all about the baritone. and we became good friends. Well, later on, he changed the course of my livelihood, or my life, as I say. When he came to New York, he was calling me pretty much every other day. Come on, man. I said, man, I'm not ready for New York. He said, well, Jabbo, don't nobody get ready for New York. You got to come here and be ready, get ready. I said, oh. Well, the job that I was working pissed me off. So I said, that's it. Out of St. Louis. So I came to New York. Bluiett had me already set up. And he introduced me to another baritone player named Pat Patrick. So we were all working every weekend. That's when the Latin scene was real big. So we was all working the Latin gigs. But I have to say, he has an eye for talent. Always have. And he follows his own drum beat. So you don't tell him to go this way, he's going that way. They're right about that. You know. And any of you have heard him play, so you know. Yeah. Well, the sound is the thing. And in that day, when you were studying saxophone, you had to have a sound. That was the big thing. It wasn't about how many notes you could play. You had to have a sound. Well, now it's about how many notes you can play. It ain't about sound. Well, we became good friends. And like I said, I came to New York, I was living with him. And I'll never forget it. I had been driving, you know, when you're living in a town like Missouri, you ride in a car all the time. So I had never really told the baritone anywhere but to my car, and I go to my gig. Well, I get here, and Bluiett said, come on. So Sam Rivers was rehearsing. No, Charles Bird was rehearsing at St. Peter's, old St. Peter's Church. And I don't care, what is that train line where you go down and you get off at 57th Street, or right there where the train stop is, and you have to go up that big escalator. And I'm huffing, and Bluiett's just tracking, boy, and I'm like, this heavy on. And I look up and the escalator was not moving. I had to walk up. So finally I get to the top. He said, yeah, boy, you used to ride. And he said, now, you're a real musician now. You got to walk. You got to tote this horn. They don't need no car in New York, you know. So I get there, and I go sit down, because I'm a Southern boy. I'm waiting for somebody to ask me. I said, no, go up there and get your music. Just go sit down. I said, oh, yeah? So I went and got me to sit down. So Charles Bird looked over there and saw me. He called all the baritone parts. And I'm up there playing. And I never get Eddie Preston. But I always say, hey, baby, let a bee coming up. And I look out there and Bluiett sitting there laughing at me. And I was killed. Then the next rehearsal I went to was Sam Rivers. Because he knew all these people. Now I was very comfortable there because I learned a lot from Sam, how to put music together. He had it, you know. But I remember writing something, and Bluiett was in the band. And I don't know if you know of Julius Hemphill.
Oh, yeah.
Julius used to have a group in St. Louis that Bluiett used to play with. And another friend of mine, we'll talk about him later, because I got a piece that I wrote about him. And we was playing, and so Julius asked me to do 2 arrangements. And I remember Teach Me Tonight and Missing. And I wrote these arrangements, put them on the bandstand, and Bluiett looked over at me and said, huh? Well, you done pretty good. So, yeah, I think you could do this. So when I came to New York, he the one that encouraged me to start to write with music, you know, and help me about this band. Between him and Kobe, they were both knocking on the door about, yeah, go and put your band together and write some music. So, but yes, when I first heard him, believe me, it changed my life.
Yeah.
It really did. He really got me interested in music because before that I was a part-time musician. There's such thing as a real musician and a part-time. That means you go to your day job and you play music on the weekend. But see, he was always playing music every day pretty much. You know, he had a steady gig at one time over in East St. Louis. And he took me to East St. Louis one time, and I'd go over there, and I used to go to bed at 9 o'clock. And I'd go over there, I guess it was way in the morning. And I'd go over there, and people were just busy. I mean, it was busy. I'm like, what is this? I had never seen nothing like that, you know. He said, yeah, boy, this is the way we live over here, you know. And he introduced me, I think, who was it? Albert King. What a man. Had to play with him. And like I said, they introduced me to George Hudson. I don't know if any of y'all know of George Hudson. But George Hudson was a big band in St. Louis, territorial band. And he was a friend of all the other musicians like Basie and all of them. They all knew him and stuff. And one day Bluiett come to me and he said, hey, he said, you know, I don't want to do any big band stuff no more. You know, why don't you take that seat? And I said, okay. And I'll never forget it. The first tune George Hudson called was In a Melotone. And I don't know if y'all ever heard that in a melotone that Basie plays. And it's got a reed chorus in it. You jump up. I said, oh boy. Well, I played it. George Hudson was testing me. He said, yeah, boy, hit that thing, didn't you? I said, well, I've been listening to it, so I pretty much could sing that whole line. And I get here to New York and find out I'm working with Frank Foster. So I asked him, I said, Foster, because he used to live up in the Bronx. And Foster was taking me home. And on the radio, the melotone came on. You know, they had the jazz station here. What, WRVR? Yeah. And I'm listening, and I said, Frank, that sounds familiar, you know. I said, it sounds like something you would do. He said, yeah, Jabbo, Quincy done the arrangement, but Basie had me to soup it up a little bit. So he put the reed chorus in there, you know. And the reason I'm in New York is because of him. So it is my honor to do this tonight for him, or about him, or with him. And I know a lot of you people know Bluiett, so I don't have to go no details here, right?
Tell him to come up.
Okay?
Tell him to come up.
Huh?
Tell him to come
Hey, man. Bluiett. To the front.
I'm happy Bluiett, everybody calls me Bluiett. I've done that for a long time. Everything Jabbo said is true. I forgot a lot of it, because I forget stuff now, you know. But in a way, I'm very happy to have been so influential in so many people's lives without even thinking about it. I just do it. I just do it. If I see somebody, I just say, hey man, let's do this, let's do that, you know. I'm getting ready to fool with the baritone player in a minute. I'm gonna jump on here. Because I just do it. I don't really know what to say tonight. I almost didn't come. Because I don't like to be honored too much, you know. Because I feel like that happens after I leave here. Then y'all talk about me. I'm just crazy like that. I'm constantly trying to go, like you said, go forward. instead of sideways and all the other kind of ways to go. Plus, I've been sick for the last about a year and a half. No, actually it's almost 2 years now, maybe a little bit over that. Having a couple of strokes and a lot of other things that's been wrong with me. But a lot of that's wound up being sort of a blessing because now I don't have a choice. We're trying to go backwards. I have to go here forward. Because I can't try to go back and recapture what I've already done. So we're actually worked out pretty good, you know. And Jabbo, let me talk about Jabbo for a minute. He's the first person I've ever seen that woodshedded in a calligraphy kind of way. Like he would write a whole note, you know, maybe for a week. Write a half note for another week. He would write how you put down in a mellow tone in a calligraphy type fashion for a month. I used to just look at him and say, this guy crazy, what's wrong with him? I don't get this, but I didn't realize what he was doing. Like, you know how we would shit. We practice and practice and practice. Well, he was doing this with writing music, and I had never seen anyone do that. So I just look at it. I thought it was kind of strange. Anyway, I'm digressing and getting away from what I'm trying to get away from. I'm glad that you have bestowed this honor on me of any kind of way. Because I didn't really realize how much I needed it. Didn't realize how much it meant to me. I didn't realize I didn't realize. That's not the best way to put it. You understand? So about all I can really tell you more than anything else is thank you for what you've done, for being here, and all the other stuff. Now, JD, you got something you want to say?
Y'all in New York presents this to Mr. Hamiet Bluiett in honor of his great career in worldwide fame, and we love it. Hamiet Bluiett.
Well, for me, this is one of our most treasured honors to have bestowed on me. Because it comes from friends, it comes from musicians. That's what makes it more important to me than anything else. Anything that musicians drop on me is always great. Not good, great. Okay, so thank you.